CoWrkr is an intelligent customer success partner.
Welcome to AI and the Future of Revenue Retention podcast, where we explore how AI is transforming customer success and revenue growth. I'm Sushil, founder of CoWrkr. We work with revenue and customer success leaders to improve revenue retention using AI. I'm joined by Eric Vogan, who brings deep experience in enterprise customer success and now leads the delivery of production-grade AI system, helping organizations deploy RAG, AI search, agentic workflow that drives the measurable outcome. So, hi, Eric. Welcome to our podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Great. Love to know a little bit about yourself. I know you have a great journey from customer success into kind of helping customer success and others from AI perspective. So, would be glad to learn some of your background.
I started out in industry as a software engineer and then over the years moved into customer success. And I've very much found that to be a rewarding function to be in because you can still keep yourself on the technical side, but also you get exposed to all the different business units on internally in your own company and also your customers. So it's very rewarding. And you get exposed to a lot that you wouldn't in other roles.
What is your overall framework of revenue retention?
So being proactive, finding out what the customer wants before they even realize it necessarily themselves, find out when there's a problem before that there's indicators that there is a problem, trying to stay one step ahead of your customers and seeing, understanding their vision of where they want to go and making sure that you're paving the road to get there most effectively using whatever tool you're having to provide them.
A lot of organizations kind of talked about being proactive, but actually few of them actually do it. So
hmm
but from what I'm hearing you is you really actually implemented some of the proactive system there, right?
hmm Yes.
Great.
Yes. And a lot of it is using AI because I'm able to do stuff now with AI that I was not able to do previously doing deep analysis of customer usage patterns. Are their monthly active users staying the same? Are they changing? Are the teams that's using the product changing? You can take, as long as you have a zero retention policy with a model that you're using, it's approved for work. I like to load transcripts, and I let customers know I do this too, of calls and of talking to their users and that. And a lot of times you can tune the agents that when you load in these transcripts, it'll find things that you don't necessarily pick up on or trends between talking to different teams of issues or maybe opportunities, potential revenue opportunities that, if you were just kind of doing your heads down CS work and going through different meetings with the different teams and worried about the to-do list that they have for you and all that, you're not necessarily poking your head up and looking around for the signals that are there. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. How do you know if the customer is going to churn or if there is an opportunity for expansion? Now, you can give the pre your AI implementation probably, and then maybe post so that, kind of we have the both flavor since you
Yeah.
have experienced both world.
Yeah. Change in communications is a big one.
Mm.
I've never had a churn happen that I'm aware of where they either didn't come out and tell you, like, hey, we have budget cuts and we're at risk of maybe having to either do a reduction or we're looking at other vendors. Sometimes they'll just come out and tell you that, but other times they'll just have less communication or they'll be a little more vague in
Mm.
communication compared to the baseline of how they've been. So that's a leading indicator. And of course, usage. If you see usage dropping, or let's say you sold them a SaaS service and you expected to get X percentage of usage within the first year, and you're only at a subset of that and it's staying plateaued, that's another good sign that you might be on the chopping block or have a severe reduction.
Mm. In current organization or in the previous organization, how do you used to get those information?
So being organized
Mm.
as a CSM is key. Being able to have all of the information from each customer in one spot, organizing meeting summaries. I love call transcripts now, especially with AI. Having all that organized and having one place where you can like go to and have working sessions and account planning sessions with all the information, ideally historical from the however many months or years you've been with a customer. You can do that type of analysis easily when you have that all in one place, and you know what you're looking for.
Great, great, great. Were those information into different system like CRMs, usages, and did you had any kind of tools to aggregate those, or it was a manual process? How was that?
Well, so that depends, right, on the different tools. So a lot of times, you'll have like a lot of stuff in Salesforce that you need to be able to do analysis on. So sometimes the tool you're using has a Salesforce connector, which makes it easy. Sometimes you need to do manual extractions to do it, and that's just a Salesforce example. I mean, there's a plethora of other tools out there, obviously, and each one's different.
Mhm.
So some of them lend themselves more to that type of collaborative work where you can have a single view into everything with a customer, and some of it requires more manual intervention to move it somewhere like on a G drive or whatever tool you're using for collaboration.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. On your specific instance, like in current organization or the previous organization, what CRM they used to use, or how difficult was that process?
Mainly Salesforce.
Mm,
I've been in organizations that have been very Salesforce centric.
mm.
So I don't really have a whole lot of exposure to other tools outside of Salesforce for
So
CRM.
you get the Salesforce, the communication, those things from Salesforce, and then usage pattern or ticket system. Do you used to get those?
Exactly. If you run your support ideally through whatever tool you use it for, you want to bring in support information too. Are they doing more tickets now? Are they doing less? Are the nature of the tickets that they're opening and the issues they're reporting, are they changing? If so, why?
Yeah.
Those are all different indicators that something's changing, which may mean a opportunity event or perhaps a churn event.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the support ticket by itself is not bad, right? Because sometimes we want them to get engaged, right? They may
Oh
have
yeah,
questions, they have this, but as you said, like as you very well said, like the kind of question that we get or kind of issues that we get is really important. So that's great.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll have political factions in customers where
Mm.
some groups don't want you and
Yeah.
other groups do, or some groups are, just neutral.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times from tickets, you can tell which ones are more biased, like
Mhm.
maybe, pro or against. And
Yeah.
that's a good indicator too. And then
Yeah.
obviously keeping a solid line of communication and relationship with the executive sponsor is
Mhm.
extremely important, because you may have a team that you're working with day to day that is just happy with you, with the product, everything. But if the person writing the checks is not, or not getting that message, or doesn't value it as much, then
Absolutely.
you're at real risk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's say we kind of touch upon the signal and how do you get this? How do you know, when they are about to churn or the opportunity for expansion? Now, once we know that, what was the barrier to execution? You know, because once we know that, then we have to execute, right? So let's say pre-AI era, when you work in your previous company or this thing, what are the challenges that you faced, or what are the challenges that you see that your CSM going through to engage the customers once you know the signal?
Yes. So sometimes it's things you can affect. Maybe it is the customers have not really embraced the tool because it's yet another tool to learn, right? Which is a problem, or that there's, inertia on that. Something like that, I would have lunch and learns, like where ideally you want to have a good relationship with the executive sponsors, so you get executive buy-in. So this isn't voluntary that they're doing this; it's very highly encouraged, right? And then while you do these lunch and learns, and you can start using the product, if you can gamify it somehow, have like, hey, here's an exercise we're going to do, and I got a live leaderboard, by the way, that I'm going to be showing.
Mm.
So everybody's progress, how they're doing, and praise those that are doing well and help those that maybe are struggling a little bit. I've found that increases competency in the tool very quickly. And once a customer or user has competency, they naturally start to use the tool more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In terms of from CSM, I guess the effort wise, right? Do you
Hmm.
see what are the challenges that they see that they have a lot of manual work to be done and they don't have time to engage with, just like you said, like time to engage with customers, just like doing this kind of workshop and all those things. So what are the high time taking kind of a manual work that you've seen in the CSM kind of in that workflow that potentially we could automate that, but let's talk about automation later. But what are
Okay.
the challenges that you're seeing?
Um, I've found that time management is key in that you can have a customer that's just going along fine and you don't really need to spend that much time with. And you're very responsive whenever they need something, but you don't have to necessarily spend a lot of time with them because they aren't necessarily interested in it. They're just happy with the product. And then that frees up time to target towards customers that maybe need more time, maybe need more lunch and learns, or are more at higher risk. So it's kind of a balancing act. You're looking at your entire book of business, how much revenue each one brings, how much greenfield opportunity each customer brings, and you got to kind of rack and stack about where you're going to put your finite amount of time. So I try and identify the ones where we get the most bang for buck, taking all that into consideration. This is pre doing it, using AI as helper. So that's kind of how I balanced it at the time because there's only 24 hours in a day.
Sure, sure. And what are some of the, like, creating the QBR or creating the strategy report, follow? So what are those high time taking manual work that you have seen in the CSM workflow? Of course, before AI era.
Yeah, a lot of times it'll be around support issues. They'll
Mhm.
have something like maybe there's functionality that the tool doesn't do, or maybe it doesn't do correctly,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of times that can turn into a lot of meetings, a lot of mitigation of unhappiness,
Mhm.
and a lot of internal meetings on how to address it. So things like that come up. Uh, you know, depending on your customer base and your product and all that and your engineering team, but
Yeah.
that can take up a lot of time.
So how do you think AI is kind of solving some of these challenges today?
Oh yeah. I think AI is like steroids for your brain.
Mhm.
I was an early adopter of GPT-2 when it first came out, and then
Wow.
I knew this was going to change so much, and I have tried to bring AI automation into everything I can with work and my personal life. But I have many agents that are designed to automate certain tasks. Everything from like doing status reports to just account planning, having every transcript with a customer, every status report, usage data, everything, and just being able to do account planning, especially if you have that in a historical, a large historical view, and that makes doing QBRs easy. That makes setting up, meetings or planning it going into, whatever phase you're going into next. It makes it very easy because the AI can have so much more in this context window than a human's capable of doing, and being able to surface what's relevant at any given time based on the needs at hand. So yeah, I've just it's made me so much more effective at my job.
Awesome. What is the one thing that you said, "Oh, wow, that really blew my mind in customer success"? What is the one AI automation that you did that like really blew your mind? Like awesome.
Um, Being able to have it psychologically profile the customers and how satisfied they are and how likely they are to further use the tool and push for adoption versus identifying those that are more neutral over time, patterns over time about how they're talking and how they're interacting with. So it isn't just what they say, but it's what they do. How much is those particular users interfacing with the tool, and how are they using? Are they using it the same way every time? Are they exploring some, in different ways? So just being able to gain that insight has been like something that's really blown me away.
Wow, that's really powerful. That's really powerful. So basically, you can combine what actually they are in the system and maybe some of those support ticket, what kind of support ticket they're pushing in, and some kind of what kind of response on email that they're getting in, right?
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
really.
And you can prep the agent that you're building you can even cite, like if you have different, books on psychology or whatever, you can cite that to bring in that for the evaluation, those techniques and yeah.
Yeah, which could really help on the change management, which is the most difficult part of any software implementation, right? Well, any change, right, for that matter.
Yep.
So no,
Yes, very much so.
that's great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, 2026 is already here. So from that perspective, what do you think customer success leaders need to prep for 2026 with all this paradigm change? Not only AI, but the how team works and all the team organization, team structure and everything, right? So what do you think we should prepare for 2026 as a CS leader?
Everything is accelerating. I was a software engineer during the dot-com era in the mid 90s, and I was like amazed at how things were changing so quickly. And there was, different types of people, those that leaned into it, those that were, neutral, and those that leaned away. And the ones that leaned away did not go well for them. I think that is exponentially more now. Things are faster. I think the impact's bigger now with AI than just the internet was. And I think the change is going to happen a lot faster. I think that CS leaders who do not embrace faster, better ways of doing things, leveraging every AI tool that they can, and expecting that of their team, you're going to be left behind. And that just kind of goes for everyone, but especially in the tech world.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. No, I love our discussion. I think that's a great message for everyone, and I think organizations are kind of trying to embrace that as well, right? From that perspective. So that's a great message. Anything else you would like to add to conclude our podcast today?
No, it's just there's going to be huge job disruption coming very quickly in white collar jobs. And I encourage anybody that'll listen. I tell my kids who are in colleges now, you are a manager. You are going to be managing AIs, and you need to think that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, those that do that will be okay. Those that don't, it'll be tough.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, it was great having chat with you. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate your insights. I'm sure our viewers will definitely love it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Feel free to contact us if you want to learn more about how AI can help customer success.